Peak Forest is a small village on the main A623 from Chapel-on-the-Frith to Chesterfield. The village grew from the earlier and still inhabited settlement of Dam at the conjunction of Perrydale and Damdale. There is a pub, a church and a primary school. The village name probably originates from the Forest of High Peak and is at the heart of the old Royal Forest. The nearby Chamber Farm or Chamber Knoll may have been the exact location of the residence and meeting place of local forest officials. Good morning. It's Saturday the 15th of October 2022 and today's walk starts and ends here in Peak Forest. I think this village probably gets overlooked a lot of the time because we've got the busy A623 running through it, but if you forget the fact that there's a busy road here, I think it's a really pretty village again. So, it's supposed to be a bit showery today. Hopefully it'll be dry for most of the day, so we shall see as the day goes. The church was first erected in 1649, dedicated to King Charles I, but was replaced in 1878 as a gift from the Duke of Devonshire. Oh well, I did actually try to go inside the church. It would be nice to have a look inside, but the doors appear to be locked, so no joy sadly. Never mind, I should just get on with the walk now then. My walk began next to the churchyard as I followed Damside Lane. This led me south of the village to Damside Farm. Just beyond the farm, I went left at a junction of paths to go through a gate. Soon reaching another junction next to Mill Cottage, I went right at a signpost, following the path in the direction of Damdale. So today's walk is one that I've plotted myself. It's not a route that I've got out of a book. And after I plotted it, it works out at about 6.5 miles and takes about 2 hours and 25 minutes to do. I don't know how accurate that is, but that's what it comes up as on the OS Maps app. But I just really want to remind people, and this is perhaps aimed more at the more recent subscribers rather than people that have been following me for some years now, but this walk does take me a long time to do. You know, it won't take me 2.5 hours, it'll take me more like 6 hours. I'm mentioning this because I've had a couple of comments recently where people have said, oh, I'd love to join you on one of your walks. Well, to be perfectly honest with you, I wouldn't want to drag people around with me. Oh, pardon me. I wouldn't want to drag people around with me because it's a long day. You know, I'm not just doing the walk. You know, I've come out to make a film of a walk. So probably by the time I finish this, you know, it'll be 6 hours again, which is the norm. Oh, if I can get this gate open. So, on that note, what I will say to people is, if you are newer to my channel, I recommend checking out films number 156 and 157. They're 2 films I shot last year, and I go into a bit more detail about what's involved in the day's filming. And I also recommend checking out my behind the scenes documentary, reflecting on 25 years. So reflecting back on 25 years, which I shot in 2019. So again, that just gives you a little bit of background as to what's involved in a day's filming. When I actually say that I wouldn't want to drag people around with me, I mean, I'm not being rude there. What I'm trying to say is that it would be very boring for people to come with me because it is such a long day, because I'm always stopping to take shots, stopping to put the tripod on the ground, set it up, take a shot, move on to the next shot. So yeah, it's a long day, so it's not just a walk, it is a long day out where I'm making a film of the walk. So that's what I mean when I say I don't want to drag people around with me. I wasn't being rude. My walk was taking me southwards as I made my way through the beautiful and wide open limestone valley of Damdale. Approaching a lane now, I can just see it a little way ahead of me. So that lane acts as the boundary, marking the end of Damdale and the start of the next one. But I can remember walking through Damdale when I was 19 years old. That was during my very first holiday in the Peak District, and I'd spent the first night at Buxton Youth Hostel, and I can remember walking. The walk from Buxton was quite wooded. It was sort of walking through a wooded dale. It was lovely. But then as I started walking northwards through the dales that eventually come through here at Damdale, I just remember how more open the landscape became, and I loved that. It sort of just became a lot more open and it became more rugged, and of course it gets more rugged as you continue the way I've just come and as you head on to Edale, which of course is where I spent my second night on that particular holiday. But yeah, I very rarely walked through Damdale. Again, it's not far from home, but you know, making this film again it's given me a good reason to come out and do this walk again, because I can probably count the amount of times I've walked through Damdale on one hand. There you go. At the southern end of Damdale, I climbed a stone step stile onto a rough lane, where I bore right. This lane is more of a track, really. Having said that, however, just now I had to step right out of the way because there was about half a dozen Land Rovers all in a row, sort of coming this way. So, yeah, for about 2 or 3 minutes, this track was like Piccadilly Circus. Where the track curved to the right, I bore left to follow a path over a stile into the next dale. So I'm in Haydale now then. Ah, beautiful. Yeah. So again, back as a 19-year-old, I would have walked up through Haydale and up through Damdale on my way to Edale. It's funny actually, because I woke up about 7:20 this morning and I thought, oh great, I'll get up now and come out to do this walk. Because I had actually planned to do this walk a couple of weeks ago. But the trouble is, I don't know whether it's an age thing, but I just don't sleep very well a lot of the time. I go to bed, you know, at a reasonable hour, and on average I go to bed 11 o'clock. So hopefully, you know, I get my sort of full 8 hours after that, because I don't sort of try and get up at 7 every morning. But yeah, I planned to do this walk fairly recently, but I went to bed at a decent hour, and the next morning I just felt absolutely crap. I sort of woke up about 8 o'clock, or I tried to wake up at 8, but I hadn't slept very well at all. I'd had a really bad night's sleep. I don't know what it was, and that seems to happen more often now. But yeah, I sort of made myself wake up at 8, just sort of popped into the bathroom quickly to do what a man's got to do, and I went back to bed because I just felt crap, really crap. And it just ruined the day, so I ended up sleeping in bed for another couple of hours just to get a decent bit of sleep if I could. So there've been quite a few times now where I've actually planned to do a walk, but because I've not slept very well the night before, it's not happened because, as I say, I just feel crap the next day. Oh well, but thankfully this morning I managed to get up. Just thinking that I'm not a morning person anyway. Whenever I get out of bed, it always takes me quite a while to come to anyway. And an average morning, when I get up, go into the bathroom, have a wash and everything, get dressed, but particularly if I've had a bad night's sleep and I'm feeling really crap the next day, I'm just walking around like a zombie. And when I go into the bathroom, I sort of squirt deodorant under my armpits, and sometimes I have a shave. I don't shave every day, I tend to shave every other day. And the reason being is because my skin's quite sensitive and it all sort of goes a bit red if I shave every day. It sort of almost feels like you're scratching your skin. But my shaving foam and my deodorant, they are both Nivea for men. So they're in very similar containers. They're sort of white and blue containers, so they look almost exactly the same. I'm sure you know where this is going. I'm sure one morning, when I walk into the bathroom half asleep, I'm going to try and shave with deodorant on my face, having squirted shaving foam up my armpits. Surprised that's not happened already. There you go. After just over half a mile, my path through Haydale was approaching another lane. So this is the end of Haydale now then. I've reached another lane, a tarmac lane this time. So this lane, like the one previously, marks the boundary of the end of Haydale and the start of the next one. But this is as far as I go today. I will be coming back here on my next walk, and I'll walk down that dale. But for now, I'm going to be walking up that way, up the tarmac lane for a bit. Well, I'd like to say a quick hi to Ross and his son Kobe, and they're both from Peakdale. I was walking down Haydale and they were both on their push bikes behind me. Just as I reached the lane here, Ross and Kobe have cycled the other way, so Kobe was on his little push bike, so looks like he was having a bit of a cycling lesson with his dad, so really nice. Nice to meet you both, Ross and Kobe. I was now heading east as the lane climbed up out of the dale. After another half a mile or so, I arrived in the quiet hamlet of Wheston. Wheston Cross, which survives intact, probably dates from the 14th century, and marks the way from Tideswell to Buxton, along the Forest Road. This is Wheston Hall, originally built in the late 16th century. This is Oggie's, a converted van serving hot food, hot and cold drinks and ice cream. Open Thursday to Sunday, 8 AM until 2 PM, and open on bank holiday Mondays. Yeah, that's the trouble, isn't it? Yeah. After enjoying a nice hot tea, I moved on to continue my walk. At the T-junction in front of Wheston Hall, I took the lane signposted to Peak Forest. I would now be following this lane for just over 1.5 miles to where it ends at the A623. Eventually meeting the A623 at Hernstone Lane Head, I very carefully crossed over this busy road. A few metres to the left of Mount Pleasant Farm, I turned off right along a grassy track, marked with a Limestone Way signpost. I was now heading in a northeasterly direction, as I followed this section of the Limestone Way. So I'm just going to walk along here for a bit, and I'm going to turn off the Limestone Way and then just do a little loop back to Peak Forest. This is quite a pleasant way to end this walk. Excellent. So I'd just like to give a shout out to Paul. Hi Paul. Now we were out for a meal a few weeks ago on a Saturday. We went for a meal at the Rising Sun in Middleton. When we walked in, Paul was sat by the bar and he looked at me and he said, "You've got a YouTube channel, haven't you?" he said. I said, "I have indeed." So we didn't talk for long, but it was nice to meet you, Paul, and thank you for recognising me. I always feel uncomfortable when I have to walk through someone's private property. I mean, this is the right way. This is the public footpath here, but the actual public right-of-way is taking you through this private drive, and I always feel very uncomfortable when I have to do that. I'm sure the owners of the property aren't too happy either, but that's the way it is. This is where the public right-of-way goes, so I'm entitled to go here. Having turned off the Limestone Way at Cop Farm, I was now walking westwards as I slowly started to loop around, back towards Peak Forest. Reaching Smallwood House, I went through a gate to emerge onto a private lane, along which I would be turning left. So I'm now on the track where I would have walked when I was 19 years old again. When I mentioned earlier about coming up through Haydale and Damdale up to Peak Forest, when I walked through Peak Forest, this is the way I would have come, which would have taken me over towards Mamtor and then down to Edale, so... Long time ago that. It's nice to have these memories though. I can remember quite a lot about that particular holiday back in 1986 because I documented it. I kept a book, a little exercise book, and I sort of basically kept a diary of my walk each day, so that was nice. Oh well, I'm just walking back into Peak Forest now then. enjoyed today's walk. It was really nice. Peak Forest, Damdale and Haydale, and up to the little hamlet of Wheston. Particularly that little stop at Oggy's Cafe at lunchtime, that was great. Yeah, not walked around this part of the Peak District for some years, so it's been lovely. So next time I do a walk, I'll continue walking down the dale that continues on from Haydale, so look forward to that. So it's 4:10 now, and today's walk, yeah, that's taken me just over 6 hours again, because it was definitely before 10 this morning when I started filming the walk. So yeah, just over 6 hours again. But yeah, as I say, had I not been filming, this walk probably would have taken me about a third of that time. So, but yeah, a very enjoyable day. So the easy thing to say is now, let's go and have a quick half in the Devonshire Arms. I did go in there once, a long time ago. Well, certainly within the last 20 years of me living in the Peak District. But yeah, I'm going to get in the car and I'm going to make my way home again. So yeah, I look forward to seeing you all on the next walk. Thanks for joining me.